Good Thursday morning, friends. Okay, so remember we ended with this. So we're going to find out today what happened at the cabin. Open mouth, Aerith stared at the fisher. You thought you were being clever hiding with those kits for so long, Marty sneered. But you're too stupid to know that I'm the most patient creature in the world. I've waited and watched every move you've made. I saw you pretending to take care of those foxes when all you were doing was hiding from me. I saw you rush through the woods and take an indirect route back here. I saw and I followed. I'm like death. You can't escape me. You coward, he went on. I know you for what you are. You're an old, witless, selfish porcupine. And now you're going to get what you deserve. Get down from there. But, why? A very frightened Aerith stammered. Why are you so angry at me? What did I do to you? You porcupines think you can go and do anything you want, Marty replied angrily. You're nothing but self-centered beasts without any feeling for anyone but yourselves. You don't care what you say or do. You think nothing of others. You think your quills will keep you safe. Well, I'm here to show you, Porcupine, no one can be safe from Marty the Fisher, not even you. Now get down. But, I'm not like other porcupines, Aerith stammered. Or if I was, I've changed. I've become different. I have feelings. I do care what others think. Untrue, Marty snarled. Come down here and get what you deserve. Aerith, knowing perfectly well what the fisher could do to him, remained where he was. While he could put up resistance, he was hardly in a place to do so. Beyond that, he was exhausted from his long, difficult trek back to the cabin. He looked around. The barred window was behind him, no escaping that way, nor was there any escape right or left. He glanced beyond the porch toward the woods. There, perhaps, lay safety. If he could climb into a tree, he might be able to defend himself. But first, he had to get to the tree. And the new snow would be slippery, perhaps even deep in places. Get down, Marty shouted, eyes cold and hard. Get down or I'll yank you down. So saying, he reared back on his hind legs as though ready to attack. Moldering mouse marbles, Aerith cried. I don't deserve this. I don't. But when he saw the fisher's muscles tense, he knew he had no choice. He had to reach the trees. Terrified, Aerith did what he had never done in his entire life. He made a flying leap off the windowsill. Kicking back hard, he sailed over the fisher's head, landing with a hard thump on the porch. Marty, caught by surprise, swung around. Paws smarting from the painful landing, a dazed Aerith struggled to his feet. He spun about, trembling with panic and waving his quill tails wildly, ready to smack Marty across the face if he got too close. Marty stepped back spryly. Seeing that he had won a brief advantage, Aerith turned again. He tried to get off the porch by running, but completely forgot about the steps. Missing the first one, he tumbled head over tail, doing 3 complete somersaults before landing on his back in the snow, belly exposed. Oh no, my friends. Shrieking with rage, Marty extended his claws and took a great leap off the porch, aiming right at the porcupine. Aerith saw him coming and rolled over, but not fast enough. The fisher managed to snare him on his front claw, leaving 2 long scratches across Aerith's belly. Blood began to flow. "Potato pit pasta!" Aerith screamed. "I'm being murdered! Help!" He continued his roll, then turned again once more, putting his tail between himself and the snarling fisher. Marty, alert to the danger, backed off. A frantic Aerith began to race towards the trees, taking what were for him great bounding leaps. As he went, he trailed streaks of blood, which were like stitch marks in the white snow. The fisher saw where Aerith was heading. With a burst of speed, he shot past the porcupine, made a sharp U-turn, and confronted him head on. Aerith came to a skidding stop. He started to turn, but saw that if he did, the fisher would be herding him right back toward the cabin, the last place Aerith wanted to be. "Give up, you mangy beast," Marty taunted. "You don't have a chance." "You occupational ignoramus," Aerith screeched, huffing and puffing as he tried to recover his breath. His heart was hammering so hard it made him feel dizzy. Trying to defend himself, he tucked his head down between his front legs, shaping himself in a ball of bristled quills. Then, with menacing steps, he awkwardly waddled forward. This moved him toward Marty, but with his head so low, he could no longer see where he was going. Marty, seeing that Aerith was attacking blindly, backed up and quickly circled the porcupine, looking for a place to attack. Noticing that the quills along Aerith's sides were flattened, he leaped forward, both paws out, trying to knock Aerith off balance. Hit hard where he least expected it, Aerith rolled away. Once again, his belly was exposed. Once again, the fisher struck, drawing more blood. The pain was enough to force Aerith to uncoil himself. He had to see where he was, had to see where the fisher was, had to know how to escape. But when he looked about, he was so confused and woozy, he couldn't find his enemy. Belatedly, he saw that the fisher had jumped in front of him again. Even as Aerith realized his whereabouts, Marty attacked, this time aiming right at Aerith's face. The porcupine ducked. He avoided the worst, but received a bad scrape on one ear, even as he managed to butt the fisher hard, hoping he'd poke him with a couple of quills. Marty dropped back, coolly trying to decide where to attack next. In that moment, Aerith stole a quick glance to see how far he was from the trees. He had covered half the distance, but it still felt as if there were miles away. As Aerith struggled to decide what to do, Marty took another hard lunge at him, trying to knock him over. This time, he missed completely and went sprawling into the deep snow. Sensing his opportunity, Aerith hurled himself toward the trees. He was beginning to think he was going to make it when he received a hard smash on the left side. The stroke came so suddenly, so intensely, Aerith landed hard against an old stump, the wind knocked completely out of him. Feeling increasing pain and growing even more muddled, Aerith knew that he must get up and defend himself. But he could not. The best he could manage was to open his eyes. He beheld a dreadful sight. Marty the fisher was crouching a few feet away. His face bore a cool grin. "I have you now," Marty hissed. "Help!" Aerith gasped. "Help!" "You're done, porcupine," Marty snarled. "Completely done. No one, absolutely no one escapes Marty the fisher." Aerith strained to get up. The pain was too great. He was too weak. He was bleeding too much. "Please," he bleated. "I need some help. Please, someone help me." As Marty the fisher prepared his final fatal spring, Aerith closed his eyes. "Goodbye, Poppy," he whispered. "Farewell, kits." He opened his eyes to see the fisher, claws fully extended, leaping at him. The next instant, there was an explosion of red. It seemed to come from nowhere, and yet it was everywhere all at once. So there's Marty the Fisher ready to do his last attack. Thinking it was his own blood he was seeing, Aerith squeezed his eyes shut. Then he heard the yelping, barking, and snarling. Aerith opened his eyes and blinked with astonishment. Tumble, Nimble, and Flip had burst from the woods and leaped upon the Fisher, taking him completely by surprise. What's more, they were pummeling him with all the ferocity they could muster. Tumble, with jaws tightly clamped, was holding onto the scruff of the Fisher's neck and shaking hard, all the while grunting and snarling. Nimble had taken a fast hold of one of the Fisher's legs and was refusing to let it go, no matter how much the beast thrashed. As for Flip, he had a firm grip on the Fisher's tail and was growling and yanking and pulling with all his might. In seconds, it was Marty the Fisher who was on his back, kicking and clawing frantically, trying to get away. Oh, look who saved the day! A weak, dazed Aerith could only mutter, "Welcome the wombats and bless all the bees." Suddenly, Marty the Fisher gave a weak yank and freed his leg from Nimble's grasp. Though Tumble was still clinging to him and Flip refused to let go, the Fisher staggered to his feet. With a violent shake, he flung Tumble away. Then he turned and snapped savagely at Flip, who was forced to let go of the Fisher's tail. Free at last, Marty, instead of staying to fight, whirled about, leaped through the bushes, and fled among the trees. The kits, tongue lolling, chest heaving, watched him go. So did Aerith. For a moment, there was nothing to hear but the sound of the Fisher smashing through the underbrush. Next, there came a distinct, dreadful sound of a metallic snap. What do you think just happened to Marty the Fisher? Chick, chick, chick. Marty the Fisher. Oh my goodness, my friends. We are so almost done. I'm going to save this last chapter for tomorrow. We will finish the book tomorrow. That's one of my favorite chapters. It's a little scary and intense, but I love that the foxes came back after him. And I love at the end when it says they heard a snap. So, my friends, tomorrow we will see what happens in the rest of Aerith's birthday. Also, I will be setting up a Zoom meeting for tomorrow. And then we will talk about setting up a weekly meeting. It looks like most kids want to do 2 times a week. And it looks like most days were pretty open. There were quite a few votes for Tuesdays and Thursdays. So I will be setting that up and sending messages out to your parents so that you know when those are. But let's have a meeting tomorrow. I'll set that up, a Zoom meeting tomorrow. And we'll talk about what we'll do in the future and just kind of touch base and see each other and visit. So, all right, my friends, I will post a new video tomorrow and I will see you tomorrow. Talk to you later. Bye.